I got to a certain point where I was like setting all this stuff up, and I got like all my Foo Fighters stuff, like the shirt and all this, and I was like, I'm becoming one of those fans, like one of those crazy weirdo dudes.
This is the call to all my best resignation. It's been too long.
Oh wait, I got one here. Does that work?
So what happened is this year is the 25th anniversary of the debut Foo Fighters album being released. Came out on 4th of July, 1995. You know, obviously that means a lot. You know, the Foo Fighters have been around for 25 years, and we kind of wanted to think of a way to celebrate that fact that they've been putting out so much good music for so long. It kind of got us thinking. We're like, okay, what's a way for us to show them how much we appreciate this in our own way? We thought, what if we recorded a cover of the entire first album, front to back, every song? We kind of pieced this together one song at a time, and then we filmed ourselves playing it, and we made this video.
It was a blast, man. I think that just the whole idea of doing this in a quarantine situation, which was not what we expected. A lot of us were like hoping to do it in the studio, or we could all be in the same place at the same time. This is something we'll remember for a long time, and we all got to like do it at our own homes in quarantine, and then put it all together in a package and release it. I think it's special setting up my studio and doing bass tracks and stuff. I had a really great time.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, I've played original music. I've played a lot of cover songs. Playing an album front to back, that's a totally different gig. It's interesting having to learn all the parts, and especially that album. Dave Grohl really doesn't do the same thing twice very often, but it's really cool. He's really good, and you can tell that the guitar parts and the drum parts, I mean, you can tell that he had an idea of exactly what the song needed to feel like. You know, it's by no means perfect, but you know, I'm happy to be done.
It was a good challenge, and I love to challenge myself musically. It's always good, I think, to push yourself, and just learning the deep cuts. And there was a couple of curveballs in this album, I would say, for sure. Just getting those songs learned, and it'll be kind of fun playing them live every once in a while, you know, throw them in the mix. It was pretty fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was fun. And I think the end product hopefully is going to reflect how much work we all put into it. In terms of things like the sound of the mix, the sound of the guitars, the sound of the drums, even the vocals on the whole thing are double tracked. So, you know, just trying to maintain those little details and things that I know like hardcore Foo Fighters fans will pick up on. I reached out to Barrett Jones, who recorded the album, and asked him a few questions about what gear was used and stuff like that. And for me, at least, it's a lot of fun to kind of pick apart those little details. It's cool to see how close you can get to the real thing. It always seems like that album was kind of recorded as a demo, and it was always meant to be re-recorded, but when you listen to it, there was a lot of time spent making it sound good. Or maybe Dave Grohl just has the capability of making everything sound good first try. That's probably the more likely answer. So my favorite song on this album is Good Grief. For some reason that I can't explain, I've listened to this song for years, and something about the way the guitars sound, or the vocal melody, or just the chord progression or something is so nostalgic sounding to me. And it's weird because I don't think I ever heard that song growing up as a kid. Like it was just never on the radio. I never picked it out and listened to it a lot. But for some reason, whenever that song starts, like it just instantly makes me feel like being a little kid, you know, in the 90s, late 90s. And for years in my own music, I've tried to replicate that feeling. I don't know, there's something about it that really, it's got such a pleasing sound, and it's very nostalgic sounding. It's a really cool song.
You know, I think Floaty is probably my favorite song. And maybe it's not intended to be that way completely, but there's just a lot of creativity to it. There's a lot of looseness to the drums. There's a back pocket feel. Like, I think it's the coolest drum part. It's got the most subtle cool things in it. You know, I think just nails it. The feel of it, it feels loose, but it's organized at the same time.
As we were going along, I kept picking new favorite songs because I didn't realize how many gems there were on that first album. I bet you this is what everyone chooses, is Floaty. I think Floaty has so much emotion, and it takes me to a different place. When I'm playing that, even when I was playing it on this album, I felt like I was just in this real relaxed kind of just, I don't know, just vibe. It made me feel happy, so I think I'd try Floaty.
Oh, good grief, I don't know. I would say as far to play is probably Good Grief. Yeah, it's fun. That or Floaty.
Yeah, I said my favorite was Good Grief, and both Shane and Rich said Floaty was their favorite too.
Yeah, it's got to be probably Good Grief, and a close second is Floaty.
I don't know how many takes did we require? Yeah, I mean, Exhausted is, it's the longest song, so I think that takes, the most patience and diligence. That one is probably the most challenging.
I would say the toughest song for sure is Watershed for me. It's to play that song on the guitar is just madness. I mean, there's chords everywhere. The riff moves around so much, and there's a little riff in the chorus that there's all kinds of crazy stuff. And not to mention, he's just barking the vocals over it, and it's like, it's not easy to do at the same time. That one kicked my ass a lot.
Watershed. Watershed. It's actually not that bad of a song. It's just the one freaking part. It's a pain in the ass. It's in a weird freaking timing, and it's really hard to hear the notes because it's so fuzzed out. That was actually the only hard part, I would say, on the hardest song. But everything else is pretty fun. There's a couple weird little riffs here and there, but for the most part, just straight up good old rock and roll,
Probably Big Me.
Yeah?
There was a couple tough ones, Watershed and Weenie Beanie, where they were a workout. Probably say Watershed for sure. I'm sure everyone's going to say that one, but it definitely had some stuff. I mean, this is all straight ahead rock and roll, but that one kind of challenged you beyond what you were ready for.
Mine probably would be Best of You. I mean, it just has like a good personal meaning. Yeah, I think that one hits home the most, and then probably My Hero, close second there.
Pretender. Just because it's got that creative, with section. We got a lot of those songs that do that, but just the creative section in there and the way that we kind of reshape that every show. I mean, it's never the same way twice. When you feed off the crowd, I mean, I think you find the songs transform a little bit when you play them live. They just got a different feel. To me, that's the favorite part of playing this band.
Probably off of Wasting Light these days. Probably.
Great
Makes
one.
me feel great. But no, I don't have really a favorite.
I'd say my favorite all-time Foo Fighters song, aside from Good Grief, would probably be Walk from Wasting Light, because that was the era that I kind of really discovered the Foo Fighters, and that album came out my senior year of high school, and I listened to that song that whole summer. Kind of the same thing. I mean, every time I listen to that song, it reminds me of that point in my life, and it's a really meaningful song for me.
I think it'd be like, oh my gosh! No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, I would hope that they just see the spirit that we have and how much we enjoy playing the songs, and they think it was cool. I don't know. I think I'd just be excited that they saw it and they thought it was good. Yeah.
I would say thank you for 25 years of rock and roll service, and thanks for writing songs that help us through the bad times and the good times.
Dude, kudos to just amazing decades of songwriting. I mean, not many bands get to do that. I think the spirit of what rock music is live, they embody that. Man, awesome. I think Dave Grohl is just an amazing songwriter. I've been doing this a long time, and it's definitely been the most. They're fun to cover. They're fun to play because of that. You feel like you can take some liberties with a live experience because they do. They've quickly become one of my favorite bands.
I've never gotten to meet any of the Foo Fighters yet. I don't know if they'd want to meet me. I think I'm too far gone. I'm maybe too crazy of a fan now. I think if they met me, they'd just be weirded out. They'd be like, oh boy, another one of these guys. I don't know. Hopefully not, but they always say never meet your heroes, so I don't know. Maybe someday. But if they were to see this video and weren't too weirded out by the fact that we're trying to copy them, specifically Dave Grohl, that we're trying to copy the work that he did, I guess I would just say, thanks for all the great music. And thanks for providing inspiration to so many people who believe in the art of creating music and the process of creating music. The Foo Fighters have always been that one remaining constant of like, you can make a rock band work. You can make a straight up rock band work really well. I guess, I don't know, if there's one thing that I'd want them to know, it's thanks for giving us music to cover. And yeah, I'm sorry about the quarantine thing. Like, that really bites. It just sucks, man. And we don't know how long it's going to be, but in the meantime, this is sort of all we can do. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.